Thank you for attending this Connect Together event. During this event, we have automatic closed captioning available. Please go to the bottom of the Zoom meeting, click Live Transcript, and then Show Subtitles to turn them on. Before we begin, we'd like to take a quick moment to let you know how you can join an opinion research panel made specifically for British Columbians living with disabilities.
For 25 years, the Disability Foundation has been fostering meaningful experiences for Canadians with disabilities through outdoor recreation, social connectedness, innovative adaptive devices, and more. Today we are asking, how has the pandemic affected you? Help strengthen decision makers' understanding of your needs and experiences by joining an online opinion research panel consisting solely of people with disabilities and their caregivers. Make a difference in your community today. The Disability Foundation. Reimagine what is possible.
Did you know? Young adults with disabilities have a harder time getting hired. Break down barriers by sharing your story. Take our survey.
Okay, you can start.
All right, great. Thank you guys so much for having us. So we are from Gastown Vocational Services. My name is Kaitlyn.
Hi, I'm Brandi.
And we are both job developers here. So let me pull up my slides and go over what we'll be talking about today. All right. So our service is a part of Vancouver Coastal Health, and we are a vocational service, which means that we focus on employment and getting folks back to work. And we do that in a supported way. So supported employment means that you're partnered up with staff to assist you with every step of the way. And that could be getting back to work, that could be getting some training or education for work, or it could be volunteering. So that's what our service does. And with today's presentation, we're going to give you some more details about our service, the different programs we have available, eligibility and how to access our service. And then we're going to close with some kind of general job search tips, and we will have a question and answer period if you have any questions. All right, so starting us off, Gastown Vocational Services has been around for 30 years. We opened in 1991, and we're a specialized vocational service for individuals living with mental health conditions. So similar to other vocational services, we help you find and keep employment, but we have that kind of specialty to support folks with mental illness. So that's where Vancouver Coastal Health comes in. We are a part of Vancouver Coastal Health. And our service is based on the psychosocial rehab model and principles of recovery. So that's where all of the kind of wellness and recovery, sort of disability supports comes into play. Where a regular employment service might just help you find work, we adopt more of a kind of recovery approach, a more holistic approach. So not only do we assist you with work, but we help you maintain your mental health and your mental health symptoms and diagnoses. So we help you identify your vocational goal. So that could be paid employment, part-time work, volunteering, or some sort of skills training. We help you gain those skills to enter the workforce and manage your personal wellness to help you find success in keeping your job. So we're a multidisciplinary team. Do you want to go for this? Okay. So what that means is that our staff have different specialties. So we have occupational therapists here. Those are our clinical staff members. They specialize in mental health, recovery, and wellness. So they are specifically trained for clinical supports in mental health recovery. Whereas our job developers, like myself and Brandi, we specialize in the labor market. So all of the practical job stuff, like how to find a job, how to apply, interview, negotiate a job offer, all of that kind of stuff is our specialty. And then we have peer support workers. These folks specialize in personal lived experience. So our peer support workers are clients like you who have some sort of lived experience with mental illness or disability. So they can provide support for you from that sort of same lens as you go through your vocational journey. And then we have a psychologist here. So they have a PhD in psychology, and they're able to provide psychological assessments and counseling for pre-employment readiness. All right.
So here at GVS, we do have two types of programs. We have our youth and young adult program, which is ages 16 to 29 years old, which has flexible programming that offers support with volunteering or work experience in employment and education. It is funded through Vancouver Coastal Health, as well as the Ministry of Child and Family Development and Blade Runners. Our WorkBC program is for ages 18 and over, and it's focused more on offering support in competitive employment. It is also funded through Vancouver Coastal Health, as well as the Ministry of Advanced Education and Skills Training. And it also offers an 8-week trauma-informed pre-employment skills workshop.
Yeah, so depending on what your kind of goals are, you might go into one program over the other. You can see there's a bit of an age overlap. So it's not just about age, it also depends on your goals.
So for eligibility into our programs, you must be living in Vancouver, in the Vancouver catchment area, which does include Richmond, unemployed or precariously employed, and wanting to work or volunteer. You must be a Canadian citizen, permanent resident, or protected person eligible to work, age 16 and over, and not participating in another Ministry of Advanced Education and Skills Training program, formerly diagnosed with a mental health condition, and currently have a primary care physician or doctor, and not receiving long-term disability.
Yeah, so long-term disability does not include PWD. So if you are receiving PWD funding from the government, that's just fine. You can still be eligible for our service. And if you're not sure of any of these things, don't worry, you can get your eligibility checked by one of our intake screeners.
So a referral process, if you are interested in accessing services, first thing to do is you can contact GVS yourself, or if you have somebody to call for you, or through email. And as Kaitlyn said, you will be screened for eligibility. And if you are eligible, a referral form is provided to you. It is then completed by your doctor to be faxed or emailed to us here at GVS. What we do then is you are scheduled for an intake appointment with one of our occupational therapists. And after that is set up, services begin.
Yeah. So I just wanted to stop and check in. Is there any questions so far about eligibility or the referral process? All right, well, let us know. You can stop us at any time. I also wanted to just call back to formerly diagnosed with a mental health condition. So this is quite broad. Basically, you just need a formal diagnosis from a doctor or psychologist. So we can't see folks that self-identify as having a mental illness. You do have to be formally diagnosed, but that covers a wide range of mental health conditions. So anything from anxiety, depression, to autism spectrum disorder, ADHD, schizophrenia, lots of different conditions are covered under the scope of our service. So if you're not sure if you're eligible, as Brandi mentioned, you can just call our front desk and they will do the screening for you. All right, so our main services here. We pretty much have two sort of main branches of what we do. There's the vocational supports, which helps you with job stuff, school stuff, the sort of practical employment side of things. And then there's the wellness supports. So that's all about supporting your mental health, your wellness, and your overall recovery. So in terms of vocational supports, that's typically led by job developers like ourselves. So you would work with us to do things like pre-employment skills development, which could be our 8-week group, could be working on things like your interview skills, stuff like that. You could do a work experience placement or a volunteer placement. and we can help you find a company that's willing to do that. You can do career exploration with us. So that's about finding what jobs might be a good fit for you. What do you like doing and what's available in the labor market that could match your skills? So we do that with all of our clients. It's sort of one of our first steps. And then we do competitive job search. What we mean by competitive is just those jobs that are out there in the labor market that are advertised and hiring. That's what the competitive labor force is. So we'll help you apply for those jobs. And we can help you negotiate accommodations. We can coach you to do this independently, or if you prefer, you can actually have us involved with that. Many times I've sat down with employers and the client when they have a job offer, and we've negotiated accommodations to help meet their needs. So we really have that kind of wraparound support available to you. We can also do things like supported education services. Typically, it's our youth program that specializes in that. And that includes accessing disability funding through student aid. There's specific funding where you can get grants that you don't have to pay back. And you can do peer support and employment and education maintenance. So something really unique and cool about our service is that we don't just help you find a job, but we actually help you keep it. So we can continue to work with you even after you're employed to help troubleshoot anything that might come up until you feel confident that you can keep that job independently. And then in terms of our wellness supports, this is typically an occupational therapist kind of role. They're the ones that are specialized in mental health and symptom management, and so they'll work with you to maintain your wellness. So this could include an occupational therapist vocational assessment, so formal assessments to see what you're good at, what kind of jobs might be a good fit. You can do psychological consultation or assessment. If you have any kind of psychological concerns, you can work with our psychologist. There are also short-term clinical interventions available. So that would include things like the Progressive Goal Attainment Program. And this is an evidence-based program that is 10 weeks of coaching sessions with an occupational therapist to identify and work towards a very specific goal. So if you find that you struggle to meet goals or struggle with motivation, the Progressive Goal Attainment Program can be really beneficial for that. There's also things like groups available. We have our mindfulness-based cognitive therapy group, which is led by our coordinator, and that's another evidence-based intervention strategy. Typically, it's focused for folks with anxiety or depression. It's proven equally as effective as medication for managing anxiety and depression. So really, really valuable program. We also offer a walking group to help get folks out of the house and moving, which has been really, really great during COVID since we're kind of stuck online. And we offer wellness planning and support. So as you go through employment, you will have that support to maintain your wellness as well. It's very important to keep your job. All right. So I want to talk a bit about our youth program. So one of the new programs, a part of our youth and young adult program, is Blade Runners. So this has allowed us to increase our staffing. This program has given us a bunch of new funding, and we've been able to hire 2 new job developers specifically for our youth team. So we're able to offer more one-to-one service. This program in particular, Blade Runners, is designed to support youth at risk who are moving forward along the employment spectrum. So it's very much at your own pace. It's very, very supportive in that way. And there is no wait list for Indigenous clients. That's because Blade Runners is specifically designed to support the Indigenous community in gaining employment. And there is an ability to pay for clients to do one customized work placement through the Blade Runners program. So with our WorkBC program, our work placements are typically volunteer-based or unpaid, whereas Blade Runners actually has funding to pay you for it, which is pretty nice. There's also incidental costs that could be covered for education or training, things like CPR, or if you need to get some sort of certification to get employment, they can cover that for you. So lots of different supports available. And then our WorkBC program. Am I talking about this one?
Sure.
Okay. So our WorkBC program, it's a little bit different. We call it our adult program, although we can serve anyone 18 plus with this program. So it starts with our 8-week Skills for Wellness and Work group, which is facilitated by a job developer and an occupational therapist. We meet 3 times a week for the afternoon, and it's all focused on pre-employment skills development. So if you take part in that group, you'll get to do things like making a wellness plan to identify how you're going to support your health as you return to work. You'll get to do things like building a resume, practicing your interview skills, learning how to do job search, and learning different communication strategies for conflict in the workplace, things like that. So it's a very comprehensive group, and it runs for 8 weeks at a time, typically about 4 times a year. So lots of opportunity to participate in that. And the WorkBC program in particular, it specializes in returning to work and developing an action plan to support you in returning to work. So you'll get paired up 1-to-1 with a job developer and occupational therapist, and you'll create an individualized action plan that's all tailored around your employment goal. So typically we like to recommend our WorkBC program for folks who have been out of work longer. We really specialize in this one with returning to work. So if you've been out of work for 6 months or more, the WorkBC program could be a really good fit to you. And we see clients of all different skills levels. We've seen folks who are brand new to the workforce, who've never had a job. We've seen folks who have 30 years of experience and master's degrees. So there's a really, really wide range of folks that we see in this program. And in this program, what's unique about WorkBC versus the youth program is that we get to keep working with you for a whole year after you get employment. So the youth program doesn't stay with you for an entire year after employment. Typically, it's just a couple months. But with WorkBC, we actually stay with you for a whole year. So that means once you get a job, if anything comes up, like you want to negotiate some time off, you want to figure out how to ask for a raise, maybe you need an accommodation or like a supportive chair for your desk, we can help you navigate all of that stuff as you go through employment. So it's very, very comprehensive. And there's also resources available through WorkBC funding. So this will depend on what you need. And we just write a strong rationale to support that funding will help you succeed in employment. So typically this could be for things like work clothing, if you need to buy certain clothes or certain tools to start a job, then we can apply for WorkBC funding to cover that for you. All right, so if you are interested in our service and you want to get in touch, you can reach out to our program coordinator, Stephanie. So that's her email on the board there. You can also call our service at the front desk. So either of these things will start the screening process and they can confirm that you're eligible and they'll tell you next steps from there. You can check out our website as well. Fair warning, this website is like really outdated. We're working on getting a new one. It's supposed to be released in April. So hopefully soon our new website will be up and available. But currently gvsonline.ca is our existing website. Hopefully you'll get the new one very soon. All right, so that's enough about our service. Before we get into job search tips, I'll just see if there's any questions again.
I have a question. So,
yeah, Lena.
to be your client, we must be the person with the mental problems, right?
Yeah, so you have to have a formal mental health diagnosis. So that could be a wide range of things. It could be like ADHD or anxiety. But yes, it has to be diagnosed by a doctor.
Okay, if there's no mental problem, other problems, then we are not fit. We do not fit this program, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, you wouldn't be eligible. But if you're interested, I would encourage you to call the front desk because we have been able to see folks that don't yet have a diagnosis. And our occupational therapists have been able to coach them on how to get a referral. So I would encourage you just to call the front desk, and the clinical staff could provide more info about that.
Yeah, because for me, like I have a memory problem. Does that a kind of mental problem or not?
Yeah, it's hard for me to say because ultimately it's the clinical staff that would kind of determine that. But there might be some opportunity for you to get a referral. Because we have seen folks with like memory challenges and learning kind of disabilities or learning challenges. Often there's some sort of mental health diagnosis in addition to those things.
Okay, so you mean I have to contact the front desk to get the details, the further information?
Yeah, exactly. They'd be able to do the screening to see if you're eligible.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Lena. Lori, you have a question.
Hi. First, that mental health, here's the situation. My sons were diagnosed by a psychologist and an animal several years ago. I don't have that diagnosis, but I do know about it. And I can't get it because at that time they were in foster care.
Okay.
So
yeah, I would encourage you as well to call our front desk, Lori, because they could screen for eligibility. If you had a psychologist give you like a diagnosis in the past, I imagine that Vancouver Coastal Health would have some sort of record of that. So chances are you would probably be eligible.
no, not me.
Oh, okay.
My sons.
Oh, your sons.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if they've had a diagnosis in the past, then I imagine they would be eligible as long as they meet the age requirements and the geographic area. So yeah, our intake clinicians can give you some advice on how to access that information within the kind of health records.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, great questions. So let's go on to some job search tips. So if you do become a client of our service, we do get to work with you in like a very customized way. It's really all about what you need and what your goals are. Today with our job search tips, it's going to be a little more general for kind of the average job seeker out there. So know that if you do work with us, it will be a lot more kind of personalized to your situation. I will pass it over to Brandi.
So the most effective job searchers, there are a lot of ways to search for employment. And when you know precisely what you're looking for, that definitely helps. And know maybe an industry that you'd like to get into and your target audience. For online searching, utilize those job filters to focus more on what you're looking for and create those account profiles. Apply to multiple jobs per week across various platforms and use a combination of different strategies like online applications, in-person applications, and especially job fairs are a really great way to connect directly with employers. And, we really believe that if you're not employed, your job is to find a job.
Yeah, so all of that to say that there's a lot of different ways to approach it. But doing that work ahead of time to know what you're actually looking for will really streamline the process. And if you don't know what you're looking for, then we can help you. So that's a part of our service as well. That's sort of the career exploration piece that we were talking about.
Yeah, and like Kate said, before you search, think about what you want to do. Identify your skills. What are you good at? Can you stand for 8 hours a day or do heavy lifting repeatedly, things like that. And what do you enjoy doing? Consider your workplace environment. Do you want to work more outdoors or indoors? Are you looking for full-time or part-time? Do you want to work only weekdays, or are weekends and holidays okay? So these are all things to consider when you're doing those job searches.
Totally. And again, if you're not sure, we can help you figure that out. We all have unique strengths, and in the workforce, there was always a place to find where those strengths match what an employer needs. So that's really our kind of main priority, is to help you match what you have to offer with an employer or a job that's looking for those things. All right, so this slide is about maintaining the momentum. So what we mean by that is when you're job searching, it can really feel like a full-time job. It can be a lot of work. And often we can get discouraged, or we can kind of apply to a job and then just wait around to hear back. And it's not always as fast as we might expect it to be. So we really work with our clients to do planning on how can you stay engaged with your job search. And as I mentioned before, a lot of this could be customized to your unique situation. But in general, it's a good idea to establish a routine around your job search action plan. So when are you going to conduct your job search? Are you going to do it every Monday? Are you going to do it a couple times a week for an hour? Or, what are those details? Making a plan can really help you stay on track. And how are you going to conduct your job search? Do you want to go to job fairs? Do you want to try networking? Do you want to search online? What's going to be easiest for you? And who will help you? Oftentimes, you'll be doing job search with your job developer, with one of us. But sometimes people like to bring in other supports, like a roommate or a friend or family. It can be really motivating to bring in those personal supports to kind of cheer you on in your job search. So considering these things and building them into an action plan can be very helpful for staying on track. And then track your job applications. So this is very, very important when it comes time to book interviews. If you're applying to multiple jobs, it can be hard to remember what that job actually was or when you applied to it. So you could keep track of it with a job search journal or an application tracking sheet, like an Excel sheet. You could use a calendar tool or scheduling tools or an agenda, or you can use your candidate profiles. So LinkedIn, Indeed, these kind of things let you build a candidate profile online, and then it actually tracks your job applications for you. So then you know exactly what you've applied to, and you don't end up applying to the same thing multiple times. Okay, so next, don't wait to hear back. It sounds kind of counterintuitive, but the reason we recommend this is because sometimes the employers won't even contact you. You might have noticed in job postings this phrase, only shortlisted candidates will be contacted. That means they're only contacting the people that they're going to interview. So you might not know if your application has been screened, and you might not know if you're not getting an interview. So instead of waiting around to hear back, keep applying for new opportunities while you wait to hear back. And that's why we recommend keeping track of your applications so you know which ones you're waiting to hear back from. Adopt a holistic approach. So what we mean by this is the sort of principles of recovery, that wellness piece to support your health. So it's not just about applying to jobs. It's also about thinking what's going to keep you satisfied and motivated and on track. So that's where the wellness plan comes in, and that's where your occupational therapist can help you. So if you do become a client of our service, you will have those sort of holistic supports to think about your wellness and your health needs as well as your job needs. And then lastly, mix it up. As we mentioned before, the most successful job seekers, they use a variety of different strategies and methods, and you're going to be more successful if you try multiple different things. All right, so I wanted to talk a bit about networking. It sounds kind of scary, but one of the easiest ways to network is to attend a job fair. So essentially all networking is talking to other people to tell them what kind of job you're looking for and to potentially find out information about that job, or maybe learn who's hiring or where you can find that job. So a great way to do this is at a job fair. So some tips for attending job fairs: learn as much as you can about the event and about the employer in advance. Usually job fairs will post a list of employers. You can look up those companies, go on their website, go on their job boards, see what they're all about and what kind of positions they're hiring for. Then when you go to the job fair, you'll know which booths to talk to first. And we recommend that you bring your applications in hard copy. So print a copy of your resume, print a copy of your cover letter, maybe you have business cards or something. Bring those with you, because sometimes job fairs do accept applications on the spot. It's not always about information. Some of them are largely focused on information, but many of them will accept applications at the job fair. So it can be a great opportunity to actually apply for jobs. And be prepared to talk about yourself. Chances are you'll get asked, what brings you here today? What kind of job are you looking for? Or why are you interested in our company? So doing that work in advance can help you have those conversations. And again, we can kind of coach you with that. I've even attended job fairs with my clients, and it's really fun. You get to learn all about different industries. And lastly, get curious. So ask questions. The job fair is your opportunity to learn as much as you can about the labor market, about different companies and different jobs that are available. So don't be afraid to ask questions. And then I wanted to give you some resources. If you are into the idea of job fairs, Vancouver hosts a variety of fairs that are industry specific or geared towards certain populations, like youth or fresh graduates or folks with disabilities. So for general job fair information, you can go to Jobs Fair Canada. So that would be www.jobscanadafair.com. That is a national database of all of the job fairs and networking events in Canada. For a virtual hiring opportunity specifically tailored to folks with disabilities, you can check out diversityhire.net. So they actually have a job fair coming up on April 1st. It's online and you can register for it on their website. And it's all disability friendly employers. Similarly, with Open Door Group, they host an annual disability friendly hiring fair called Impact Hiring Fair. And it's all local Vancouver businesses, all disability friendly. I think they typically host it in the fall. So you can check out their website, opendoorgroup.org, to see when the next one is. And I believe that's it for today. Was there anything else we should share?
I don't think so.
Cool.
A lot of information.
So yes, we poured a lot of information out there. Any questions? All right. Well, I think we'll wrap it up then for the day. I'll put our contact info again on screen here. And I might actually put that into the chat if you want to copy it. There we go. And as I mentioned, keep an eye out for our new website, because you'll notice this one is very old school, but we're getting a new one very soon. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. I guess we'll take off then. I hope you all have a great day.
You too.
Take care.
Okay. Thank you. I'll end the call now.
I have a question for the host.
Oh, they all left.
Last time I attended the back emotion workshop, but they said they are going to send us the PPT for that workshop by the email. So far, I still have not received it.
Which one are you talking about?
Back in motion.
Back in motion.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to find out.
Could you please email the PPT to me?
I don't have it, but I can forward your request.
Okay.
Sure.
Could you please let me the feedback from them, or?
I'll ask them to email you.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
What is your email?
linayuw@hotmail.com.
1 second, let me write it down. Yeah, can you repeat it?
linayuw at yuw. Okay, maybe I write it in chat. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Got it. Okay, and you wanted them to send you the.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll forward it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.